As we begin looking at the distances between galaxies, it's helpful to have a sense of the scale, a sense of the sizes that we see between these galaxies. I want to compare that to the scale that we saw of our own solar system, because the scales are kind of different from one another. And there's a really simple demonstration that's sort of surprising. And rather than showing you in person using real paper plates, I'm going to show you using this little PowerPoint here. But imagine that I have a paper plate. It's right there, okay, and so I'm zoomed way out right now, okay, on that paper plate. And I imagine that the whole sun was shrunk down to that size of that paper plate. I would ask you then, okay, if this paper plate was the sun, where would the Earth be on this scale? So if we were standing in a typical classroom, I'm holding a paper plate, you'd say about how far away would the Earth be? Well, you'd maybe say it's all way over here on the other side of the classroom or something like that. Well, in actuality, it's a really long ways away. In fact, if I shrunk that whole slide down to this little square right here, the Earth would actually be like 4 slides away, or 4 classrooms away on average. Okay, so there's an enormous distance compared to the size of the sun and the Earth. There's a huge distance between them. Now, if we did that same kind of question with the Milky Way, so I said, okay, we're in a classroom, I'm holding a paper plate. If the Milky Way galaxy, which is huge, way bigger than our sun, but this huge galaxy was shrunk down to the size of this paper plate, where would be the next closest galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy? And I think our tendency is to say, well, galaxies are so much bigger, then the Andromeda must be even further away, right? Well, actually, that's not so much the case. So on this scale, if this is a paper plate and this is the Milky Way, the next closest galaxy, the Andromeda, would be about this far away. You'd like throw a paper plate to the other side of the room, right? And you could throw one a little further away in the classroom, and that would be the Triangulum galaxy. And these are huge galaxies, hundreds of billions of stars, about the same size as the Milky Way. But they aren't, compared to the size of the galaxies, they aren't as far away. The scale isn't as scary as our own, solar system. Now that's also keep in mind though, right, that the galaxies are huge. So these are enormous distances between galaxies, but compared to the size of the galaxy, right, they aren't as far as you might expect.